Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Luis. I'm a third year medical student from the Ateneo School of Medicine and Public Health. And in this video, I'll be talking about 5 test taking strategies that I use to help me get a 99 on the NMAT. I'll also share a secret at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around to find out. Quick disclaimer before I start the video, by no means should any of these techniques replace actual studying for the NMAT or any studying for any exam for that matter. I previously posted a video on detailing my tips on how to effectively study for the NMAT and to maximize your score and hopefully get that coveted 99th percentile. If you're interested in watching that, please click the link down below. So with that out of the way, let's start the video. My first strategy for you guys is the process of elimination. Sometimes, knowing what is not the answer can be just as useful as knowing what the answer is to the question. And this is what the process of elimination is all about, where you look at the options and you pick out what is obviously not the answer so you can whittle down the choices from 4 to 3 to 2 and sometimes even to 1, leaving you with only one choice left, which is the obvious answer to the question. By doing this, you increase your chances of getting it right if you're forced to guess. So from a 1 in 4 chance, you've increased your chance of getting it right to a 1 in 3 chance or even a 1 in 2 chance. This can be particularly helpful in factual recall questions in the academic proficiency portion of the NMAT. For example, with the question, which of the following is the most electronegative? A. Fluorine, B. Magnesium, C. Carbon, and D. Chlorine. Given that we've studied, we know that the halogens are the most electronegative elements on the periodic table. So looking at the choices, we can keep fluorine because we know it's a halogen. We can eliminate magnesium because it's a metal. We can also eliminate carbon because we know it's not a halogen. And we can keep chlorine because we also know that it's a halogen. So with only 2 choices left, we've increased our chances from 25% originally, had we not eliminated the other choices, to 50%. But being the hard-working students that we are, we remember that fluorine is the most electronegative element and we select that as our answer. My second strategy for you guys is to read each question twice. If I had 20 pesos for every time I made a careless mistake on an exam because I failed to read the question properly, I probably have enough money to pay my tuition myself. But in all seriousness, reading the question carefully is probably one of the most overlooked skills in taking an exam, especially when questions can include phrases like, everything is true except, or which one of the following is false. By doing this, you give your brain enough time to process what the question is saying before picking an answer, thereby reducing the amount of careless mistakes you may make during the exam. My third tip for you guys is to double check your answers at the end of each page. Given the length of the NMAT, it can be intimidating to go over all your answers again after answering a subtest. Although I generally recommend that you allot a specific amount of time per subtest to go over all your answers again, this strategy is a good alternative, especially if you're a very slow answerer. So for example, once you've answered all the questions in the page, you can go over them individually to make sure that you shaded the correct letter for your answer, or if you shaded the correct answer to the correct number. Because God knows it'll be very stressful to find out that after answering all those items, you found out that you shifted all your answers down by 1 number and have to erase them all and re-answer them all over again. My fourth tip for you guys is to plan out the amount of time you'll allot to answering each number. It's important not to dwell too long on any given number because doing so might make you run out of time for that part of the exam. My recommendation is that you allot a maximum number of seconds to answer per item on your first go-through. That way, if you get stuck on an item for too long, you can skip it and move on to the items that you can answer relatively quicker and go back to those items that you found more difficult later on in the exam. For example, the verbal test of the NMAT has 40 items and 40 minutes allotted overall for that subtest. So assuming you allotted the last 10 minutes of that 40 minutes to review all your answers, that leaves you 30 minutes to answer all of them on the first pass, which gives you around 45 seconds per item. You probably won't use up the entire 45 seconds for every item, so every item you answer faster than that 45 seconds gives you more time to review later on. My fifth tip for you guys is to trust your gut. Have you ever had that feeling in an exam where you go over the choices to the question and you're just inclined to pick one particular choice because it just feels right? Sometimes, the first choice you choose when you're not absolutely sure what the answer is usually the correct one. My reasoning for this is that the information is in your head but it's stuck in your subconscious where it's only giving you a guiding nudge towards the correct answer. On these types of items, I recommend that you don't think too hard about your answer because if you end up changing your answer and find out that you changed it to the wrong answer, you'll just end up feeling bad for yourself. Now it's time for my secret weapon on how to get the 99 on the NMAT. This is based on the statistical analysis done by the author William Poundstone in his book Rock, Brick, Scissors, where he analyzed 2,400 different multiple choice questions from schools, colleges, and even online quizzes. He ran them through a statistical analysis to find out what were the most common answers to these types of questions. He found that in 4-option multiple choice questions, the most common answer was B 28% of the time, followed closely by C at 25% of the time. Interestingly, in 5-item multiple choice questions, where there's A, B, C, D, and E, the most common answer was the letter E, and the least common answer was the letter C. He also found that letters rarely repeated themselves as the correct answer consecutively. So for example, if you answer a question with letter C, and you're 100% sure that that is the correct answer, if you get stuck on the next question between two choices, say C and D, you're better off choosing D because it's highly unlikely that the correct answer will be C again. However, the most interesting finding from his study was that on items that had a none of the above or all of the above option, the correct answer was all of the above or none of the above 52% of the time. So if you're stuck on an item with one of these choices and you can't really eliminate the other three, you're better off just picking all the above or none of the above. Although these techniques almost seem like a cheat code in that you're inside the mind of the test maker and you almost know what most likely the correct answer is, I would caution you against it because it doesn't really test your knowledge of the subject matter and you're only just taking hunches based on the statistical and psychological tendencies of most test makers. So I would recommend that you only use these after you've used the previous test taking strategies earlier in this video. Because at the end of the day, the best technique to do well in the NMAT or any exam for that matter is to just study well for it. If you like this video, please make sure to check out my other videos about the NMAT and my evidence-based revision techniques, which I'll link down below in the description. Also, please leave a like and comment down below which technique you found the most useful, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.